Hey everybody, a couple of weeks ago I posted a video showing me with these little short rolls of film that I made from a single roll of 35 millimeter film. And I said I was going to make a video about how to make those rolls, and that's what this is. So first things first, I got to explain why I do this and the ways that don't work, and I'll tell you how to do it. Look at the chapters if you want to just skip ahead to how to do it. But the reason why I make these things, and here we go, these are my little short rolls of film, is because I have multiple kinds of film that I'm working with, and they're not all Tri-X. So I might have, I got this P3200 T-Max, I got this Ektar 100, I've got some Acros 100. I don't necessarily want to shoot a whole roll of one of these things if I'm experimenting or something like that. I might just want to shoot 10 shots and then develop them, see what happened. Or maybe with color film, I don't want to have a camera with a roll of 36 shots of Portra 400 sitting around for 3-4 weeks while I figure out what other color shots I'm going to take. I want to develop the shots I took. And so that's why I do this. And as to why not bulk load, well, I got a bulk loader. And I definitely am planning on getting a roll of Tri-X or HP5. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to do that. And that's going to be great. But that doesn't help me with film that isn't Tri-X. So that's why I make these little short rolls. And I tried a few different ways to make them. And I had a few failures, and I'll just explain the things that do not work. Probably the first and foremost, I thought I was just going to use the film bulk loader and just pretend I was bulk loading from a very short strip of film. And it turned out to be not a good idea. Mainly because the film, when you have it on the roll, and this is my stunt roll of film, when you have it on it's already attached, you don't want to take it all off. You still have to do this in the dark to get into the bulk loader. And the frame counter isn't that accurate. And there's just so many reasons. It's a lot of faffing about, and it's not worth it. It's so much easier to do it without using the bulk loader. And when I actually got it to work, I managed to scratch the film a little bit here and there. I did not get one that didn't get little scratches somewhere along the way. So, bulk loader, don't even bother. Second thing I'll tell you to not bother with is these things. These are reusable film canisters. You unscrew the top and it pops off. These are garbage. Don't waste your time with these. The reason why they're junk is because this little thing is going to screw off. It's going to just pop off at the most inopportune time. You're going to throw this in your film bag and you're going to be moving around. When you go to take it out to develop it, you'll see that the end came off and you lost your shots. These other ones are not much better, these Cult metal ones. I would just say don't waste your time with them. I tried them, so you didn't have to. They're not worth it. This is what you do. Go on eBay and buy a box of leftover spools. These are from a lab, and they leave the tails out. They leave just enough of the tail out so you can tape onto that. 100 of these cost me $15. Just buy these. Use them once and throw them out. I tried doing this in the changing bag, and it's not worth the hassle. You've got the film all unrolled, and it's tangling up, and you're going to scratch the film. So just do this in a dark room. It doesn't need to be a dark room. It just needs to be in a perfectly dark room, like an office or a bathroom or something like that. And I do it in my office. I have black tape I put over all the annoying blue LEDs on things like the smoke alarm and other such things. And then I do the process with all the lights off and a towel stuffed under the door, and I'm good to go. So first thing you do is make a stick. And I'm going to show you two sizes for a 10-inch roll. I made this one. You just use a piece of random molding you have laying around the house from some project and cut it to length. And maybe write with a Sharpie on it what it's for. And then this is the one I use for half rolls. And you see right here, 32 inches makes a perfect, let me get this in the frame, 32 inches gives you a perfect half roll, and that's 81 centimeters, more or less. We're not making Swiss watches here, but these are the lengths. It turns out that a roll of film, the standard 36 frame roll of film, is 64 and a half inches long. And so we just want to make sure we cut that just about in half so that we can connect it to the new roll and have enough to have a leader on both rolls. If you're careful, you'll get 17 shots out of both halves of the film. So you lose 2 frames in this process, and I think it's worth it. Today, my wife had my grandson in the wagon, and she was walking with him around the neighborhood, and I grabbed my camera and put in one of my short rolls of Tri-X and ran out, and I was able to take one roll of photos of them and come in, and this evening I've developed them. And that's pretty cool. I wouldn't want to do that with 36 shots. So there you go. So this is how this works. We're going to prepare 2 of these canisters of film that have the tails hanging out. And you want to prepare 2 because you're going to have a mistake. One of them is not going to work. The film's just not going to want to load, and it's going to be dark, and you're going to be fiddling around. So just make 2 of them to save yourself the hassle. Electrical tape works. I found it's a little thick and takes a bit of encouragement to get it to load. I use these, I used a vinyl cutter, and I actually made little stickers. And the vinyl that you use for a vinyl cutter, like a Cricut machine or a Silhouette Cameo, if you have a friend who's into crafting and has one, it's actually really good thickness for this. Very thin. It's got tenacious glue on it, and it just works great. So I used the vinyl cutter, cut little stickers that are the perfect width for a piece of film. And this is what I use. And on top of that, I take the same stickers and I use them to cover up this DX encoding. I don't have any cameras that use DX encoding, but it bothers me that the DX encoding here is saying the wrong thing about my film. This has both the ISO as well as the number of shots encoded here. Cover it up with a piece of my red tape, and I write on it, this one says 200 gold, because that's what this is, 200 gold. So let's say you've got everything prepared. You've got your roll of film with a sticky tape on the end, and you've got your donor roll. So you're under cover of darkness, absolute darkness. You take the stick, and this one, I'm just going to use a short one because this is just a junk roll of film, and you pretend you're measuring with a measuring tape, and you just stretch it out until you get to the end, and you feel the roll. You're right at the end. Now you can use your fingers and put them like that on either side of the end, and then you can, whichever way, you just practice this your own way, and then use your scissors and go snip, snip. All you're trying to do is get a square end on this thing. Once you've done that, you want to drop the roll of film to the floor. That's a good roll. It's got half of your frames on it. You just don't want it in your way right now. Get it out of the way. But you then keep the film right here that you're not touching, touching the ends. You're going to keep that. And now we're going to take the roll that we prepared, and this is the hardest part of the whole thing, is in the dark making this attachment squarely. You don't want it on an angle. It's not going to go in. And so you just have to practice this, and you'll figure a way where you can kind of get the alignment right with, here I am looking at it, but I should be able to do this without looking at it. And you'll find that maybe the end like this, I didn't get the end to butt up. It actually overlaps quite a bit. That's not a problem. all you need to do is make sure you use your fingers to get that so that it goes in. And you want that overlap to be on the underside. And you tuck it in, and as long as you can get it to go into the roll, you're good. And then you just roll it up. So the next thing I want to talk about with these rolls is you want to load them very carefully to get all of your shots out. We're sailing close to the wind on this. You want to load this into your camera in such a way that you expose the bare minimum here and you pull the least amount. You want to be able to take the frame right there, start it right after this amount. So when you're loading a camera like these Canon cameras, normally you put the roll in on the left and you stretch the leader over. But for these short rolls, you really want to put the leader in first. And so I put the leader in and I make sure it's caught on that little hook and on the sprocket. Then I stretch the roll over. That exposes the minimum amount of film. And then I use the crank to take up the slack and make sure the roll is tight. Now I shut the camera and I make sure that the knob rotates as I cock the shutter. And then I take one shot and there we go. The next time I cock the shutter, it's going to be for real. We're good to go. Now just look at the top of the film, how little is exposed when you do it this way. Right here. This is the film from today. 17 frames fit in that half of a roll. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching.